Doing a review of the day. I've got a couple books. Is the Hebrew Interlinear ESV Old Testament, and then also the Greek Interlinear New Testament. So got a couple of these here, and this one here, this is pretty good size one here. So and the New Testament is a lot smaller here, but they're excellent tools here. And this one here, actually, I checked the price on Amazon. It is on sale, the Hebrew one, for $55.43. Normally retails for $99.99. So that is a good price point on that there. You can pick it up at Amazon. Pretty sure they got a good price out on there at Christian Books. So hadn't really got, they got some good prices there. I just get a lot of stuff since I'm a Prime member on Amazon. So great tool here. This is a great tool here. Even what this here does here is had the Hebrew Interlinear and the ESV text. Can give you an idea here on how the layout of it actually works here. This is a 10-point foot. I'm not for sure if they were making a reference to. So I guess it would be the English text that's in here. So, and what it does, it's got like the ESV over to the right-hand side, and it has got the Hebrew at the top, and it has got the gloss on here. So the gloss is like a bridge between. So this here is a great benefit if you can read and understand and speak Hebrew. Even if you don't, this still has great value here because I don't speak Hebrew, but this has been a great value in my study here, just actually using the gloss, looking at the Hebrew word. So when I see those in lexicons, I kind of understand what word is actually derived from. So I've been looking at this here for a long time, but I was concerned since it doesn't have a Strong's number that may create a problem. But actually prayerfully thinking about it, looking over it, and decided, I've had this here I'm going to say about 5 months now. So just decided to get around doing a review on it today. So just kind of touch on a couple points here. And it says here, this is the essential volume for all who study the Old Testament in its original language. On each page, the biblical Hebrewic Student BHS Hebrew text is laid out in a word for word, along with English glosses showing the basic meaning and morphology of each of the word for reference. In the English Standard Version text is presented separately in a column alongside the outside of the page. This volume also features important notes for the BHS critical apparatus related to the textual tradition of the ESV. So what it does here is in this here, what it does, the gloss is kind of like, it's not actually the same as the ESV, but it kind of gives it in detail of what that Hebrew words, and it's kind of a little bit different flow of how it's read in English. It's may seem a little bit choppy, but once you get the thought of what they're actually doing here, and then it makes a lot of sense here. It takes a little bit getting used to with the Old Testament because we normally read everything from left to right, but in the interlinear, the Hebrew wording, it reads from right to left. So it's just a little bit you learn to read that way there. So I was just going to touch on a couple points in the Old Testament to kind of give you an example here. So this has got to give you an example here. This is you look at here, this is Genesis chapter 3 at verse 1 here. So it reads in the ESV, verse 1, now the serpent is more crafty than any other beast of the field, and the Lord has made. And he said to the woman, did not God actually say you shall not eat of any tree in the garden? And the woman saw the serpent, we must eat of the fruit of the tree, and we may eat of the tree of the garden, but God said you shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it lest you die. So if you go here, and it's got here, and it's got chapter 3, and you notice it's chapter 3, I kind of showed it, chapter 3, verse 1. Here you can kind of see that point there. And it's got here, and this is how it reads in the, from left to right. Now the serpent, he was crafty more than any of the beasts of the field that he had made. Yahweh God he had said that the woman indeed, really, he said, God, not you shall eat from any of the tree of the garden. And she said, the woman to the serpent, from the fruit of the tree of the garden we may eat, but the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, he said, God, not you shall eat from him, and not you shall not touch on him. So it just takes the gloss and it kind of translates more accurately, not so much as how the Bibles are worded, because it's kind of the language is smoothed out for English in most English translations. So this sticks close to the original language here. So it kind of gives you an insight in what it's saying. And then I like how they use Yahweh in the place of Lord, because they're using the Hebrew name for God there, which is Yahweh. So, and then I got another point in here, which is this is actually in Psalms chapter 1. And I'll go ahead and you can see there, that's Psalms chapter 1 there. And the ESV, I'll just read the first verse in there. And it says here, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful, but his light is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Now, if you read here from the gloss that's here, and it's reading from right to left, blessed the man who not he walks in the counsel of the wicked one, in the ways of the sinful ones, nor stands in the seat of one scrolling, he sits not. But if it is in the law of Yahweh, the light on him, and on the law of him he meditates. So the gloss kind of like it gives it close as identical to the Hebrew word, so it reads a little. It doesn't flow the same as English. Now, when it's like the gloss is what they're looking at, the meaning, and they've taken like from the Halot and lexicons what those words mean in those particular languages there, and that's where the gloss comes at. But it stays as close as possible to the original Hebrew language. So we'll go over and take a look at the New Testament. It's 10.1 also. Now it's a lot smaller, but the New Testament, which is shorter. So this is the the Greek interlinear here. And this one here, it retails for $46.99, and the regular retail price is $69.99. I picked this up some months back when I was in Beaumont, Texas at the Mardell's Christian Bookstore, which I had a 30% off coupon, and I think this is running at a price with a 33% discount now on Amazon. So now it reads from left to right just like we normally read here. So you can take a look and see the layout there. And I just had a couple spots in here that I kind of like John 10:10, which it says here, the thief comes to steal and to kill and destroy, and I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. Now, if you read here in the gloss of this here, the thief, he comes not in order that he may steal, and he may slaughter, and he may destroy. So it adds that point from the Greek word that he may slaughter. So it brings out a meaning that we normally don't get, and it's, into the Greek text there. So this is the great benefit of this here, for example. And I'll go over another verse that I had marked in here, which is in James chapter 1, verse 13. And it says, let no man say when he's tempted, I'm being tempted by God, but God cannot tempt with evil. He himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he's lured and enticed by his own desire. Now, if you look at this here in the gloss that's here, it says, no one being tempted, let him say that by God I am being tempted, for God untemptable he is by evil things. He tempts himself no one. Each one, but he is tempted by his own desire, and being dragged away. So it uses what, if you look up in a lot of lexicons in Bible dictionary, that word is translated being dragged away. And see, in the ESV it says being lured. So this goes out to say that people are tempted by their own desire, or they're being dragged away rather than lured or tempted. They've been dragged away by their own desire. So that gives a meaning to a deep in depth meaning of what it is saying in that word there, what that word is there originally means in the Greek is being dragged away, because people are tempted and the enemy uses that to drag them away from their God-given purpose and drag them away from their relationship with God. And that's what being tempted and sin does. It drags us away from God. So these are good, valuable resources here. And it's good. This is a good thing to have. I highly recommend this one here. And if you love the ESV, I mean, this is great here. The CSV does have it, one of these here, which is in the New Testament. They have them release one in the Old Testament. And J.P. Green, if you're a fan of the King James Version, it has a similar one, but it has the, in that particular one there, it has the Strong's numbers in that there. So even without the Strong's numbers assigned to any of the Greek or Hebrew words, this is a valuable tool to add to your collection here. I enjoy this greatly, and this will be a blessing to anyone that's seriously into getting a good insight into the Hebrew and Greek language. This will add to your knowledge of God's word and help you grow in your walk. I highly recommend this, along with other resources to get a greater insight in the word of God. So may you have a blessed day in the Lord. If this was a blessing to you, found this here beneficial, click the like button. I appreciate all my subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, help me grow this channel. Please subscribe to my channel. And I have a committed goal. I'm going to try to possibly release something new every week, sometimes maybe twice a week. But as my goal is, I release more content on different study Bibles. And I'm going to be planning on releasing a few more on some whole book commentaries. That's my goal for next week, if the Lord's willing, is to read something on whole body. I've done like one book commentaries, but this is one dealing with just a particular book. So I got one that I'm looking at. Just want to get a little bit more information that I want to share on the book of James. And I'm going to, hopefully, if the Lord spare, be releasing that next week. So may you have a blessed week in the Lord.